Hey everybody, welcome to episode number 24 of The Mentors with our local mentors that we have all the time on the show, Matt LaHood, Clinton from Sprinkler.media, and we've got to welcome our guest today, Alan Fettes from Ballard Property Group in Double Bay. Alan, welcome. Thanks for joining us, my friend.
Thank you for having me, mate.
Excellent. Tell us a little bit about your marketplace. So for the listeners out there that may not know where Double Bay is and your marketplace, maybe perhaps give them a really good insight around your market at the moment. Your average sale price, and tell us a bit about this year for you as well.
So, look, I'm pretty blessed, and I'm sure Matt would say the same thing, to be able to sell in one of the most probably prestigious markets that we have in Australia.
Yeah.
I think for a long time, the eastern suburbs of Sydney has been, probably the upper echelon of property.
Yeah, the creme de la creme, my friend.
The creme de la creme, exactly.
Yeah.
So, look, we're pretty happy. We aren't as vulnerable, in my opinion, as probably the majority of the Sydney suburbs that the media is saying are coming off at the moment.
Yeah, right.
So, we've still got a lot of liquidity in the market, which is quite nice to see.
So you're still making some sales, and
look, we're still making some good sales. There's probably not as many buyers around, but there's probably really good quality buyers that we're seeing coming through.
Are you seeing that as well, Matt, from your group, in terms of, say, someone like a Ben Collier in your group, high-end properties? Is that still moving?
Certainly, Clouds. Look, the thing is, we're getting buyers turning up.
Yep.
They're just not as bullish.
Yeah, so, I'm hearing a lot of that at the moment.
The challenge is, I think, when the market really tightens, you just don't get people even registering or turning up to opens.
Yeah.
So I'm hearing stories on the weekend of, look, we sold 8 out of 9 last weekend in the Lower North Shore.
Wow, that's pretty good.
That's
huge.
So,
that's like
to
big
me,
market.
Yeah, so it depends what, I think, the 60-minute stories, all these type of things, people can really get caught up in it.
Yep.
There's still a lot of people want to buy, still a lot of people want to sell.
Yes.
Unfortunately, in our industry, we have, births, deaths and marriages.
Yeah.
People need houses.
Yeah, when I first started, they used to call them a hatch, match or a dispatch.
Well, in my days, it was called the 4 Ds, right? Death, divorce, destitute, and desperate or something. I don't know.
So world, life and everything will go on.
Yep.
It just depends how you choose to act in the marketplace as the agent.
I agree.
I think Al's got a great approach to it. Look, and I would say I don't think just the eastern suburbs is still. I think, look, inner west is still strong.
Okay.
Lower North Shore is still strong. I think even some parts out, depends what sort of properties in the western suburbs as well.
Yeah.
And I'm talking because our business is national. Perth, over there, they're seeing green shoots. Their market's coming back. They've been on their knees since the mining.
Right.
So all across Australia, it's just parts of.
Yeah,
it is being picked out and not as bullish.
It's very patchy, isn't it?
Patchy, really, it's a good way of putting it.
You can't really pick it.
Yeah, and just not as bullish, you'd say, or people not throwing checkbooks at us anymore.
Yeah, we've actually got to work now. Exactly. It's good. I enjoy it.
So tell us a little bit about your marketplace. Is there any suburb you focus on, Alan, yourself?
So look, where I predominantly focus on is anywhere from Double Bay to Vaucluse.
Yep.
I do a lot of my stuff in Rose Bay, and have been there for a few years now. So look, as I said, we're in that marketplace where I think that there's a lot of opportunity there.
Yep.
And more opportunity probably for buyers and sellers.
Yes.
Than there has been for a long time. It's been for a long time a seller's market, and now we're seeing a few more deals actually coming to fruition instead of, buyers having to come up to where the vendors are. So
exactly.
Yeah, I'm actually like
that's what's happening.
How much do you think the agent's attitude's got a lot to do with the result?
I think it's got a huge,
it has, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think if you got a motivated agent who doesn't actually listen to the media and doesn't take their advice on what the market's doing, it can have a huge impact on your
Clouds. I reckon let's looking at Alan's approach, obviously sharp and focused, positive what he does, but in terms of
he's more better dressed than both of us.
I'm trying to
certainly better than Clinton anyway.
So the reason I said that just jumped into my mind. I mean, you've got owners at the moment that might be feeling that, the prices have come down. You've got buyers that are sort of feeling there's opportunity. All we need to do is be on our A game.
Yeah, totally.
Because people buy your energy, right?
Absolutely.
So if you're going out thinking the market's down, have a guess what's going to be down.
Yeah,
I'll guarantee it's down.
Correct.
If you go out thinking it is what it is, it will be what it is.
Yeah.
It's like a boxing fight. You know, if you're in one corner and you think that the other opponent's going to defeat you no matter what, what's going to happen? You're going to get knocked out.
Yeah.
But if you're in your corner and you've got your coaches around you in the same wavelength as you,
so
you're going confident.
That's
you're do
belief,
well.
I guess you'd say.
Exactly.
So belief,
Absolutely.
But I think it's really important for us as agents to really uplift our clients at the moment.
Totally.
I've got some clients I'm working with at the moment, long-term clients of mine, got a block of 5 units. They got a DA in a year and a half ago. Market was flying.
Yep.
I sat down with them and I literally sat down with them and said, look, you're obviously following the media.
Yep.
I said, so am I, but we're not going to let that run the campaign. So what can we do differently?
Yeah.
Now we're in a market where it's not as buoyant. How can we generate more inquiry?
That's right.
Rather than just using the hope method like realestate.com, domain.com, the signboard. What can we do differently? So we put a strategy in place.
Fantastic.
Different to what we would be probably have done 6 months ago.
Right.
Because you've got to move with the market,
I
haven't
agree.
you?
I agree.
And it's those types of things. Vendors love that. They can see you actually having a crack, you know?
I'll tell you right now, today the agent requires a different level of tactics, strategies and ideas to sell property. I think what you were doing last year is not going to work today, right? So it's almost like, what is your idea or tactical strategy that you can take to your vendor or owner that's really going to separate you from everybody else? Because the agents who do that are the ones who are going to win. You know, I was talking to a guy, I said, there's so many agents in the marketplace. What makes you different, right, to everyone else? And he really couldn't come up with his either point of difference or point of value, right? And I said, I'll tell you how congested it is. There's 300 golfers, because I love golf, in the PGA circuit. I said, name me 10 of them, right? And you probably could mainly, if you weren't a golf nut, you'd probably name about 2 or 3, like Adam Scott, Tiger Woods, and then you'd be struggling to find some other one in your head of who the golfers are. That's how congested it is. There's so many agents in the marketplace. How will you be remembered for people in the marketplace to know who you are and what you do, right? So it's like you're saying, Pat.
Great analogy.
But you know what you're saying, Matt, is the people who are going to win the business today, it's like you got to say to yourself is, there's no point being, I'm positive and I'm going to be great, but I'm happy, and then I'm not happy, right? It's almost like you got to say to yourself in this marketplace that there is a way and I'll find a way. And the moment you have that little shift in your thinking, you have a different level of execution when you start making calls. You have a different level of execution when you're going into a listing presentation, right? Because all of a sudden, like what you said before, Matt, it's like you have a level of belief. And when you go in with that belief, people buy that, right? And people move with you on that. Where agents are losing today is they're finding it's hard, it's challenging. And like you said, Matty, it's like all of a sudden is look at their body language, look at their nuance, right? Like you walk with your head down, deals are tough. I've got like my days on market are like, 65 days on average right now. And, is this market ever going to get better?
The thing about it though, in my opinion, this marketplace and where it's heading is heading into the hands of hustlers.
Yes.
If you really want to make this thing happen,
yep,
and you're going to actually do anything in your power to make it happen, as Matt just nailed it, touching on, you got to forget about realestate.com and domain actually producing your buyer. That's going to instill a level of competition amongst the buyers, but you've got to make the calls, you've got to make the phone calls, you've got to make door knocks, you know what I mean? Like that's...
Yep.
That leads me to a really interesting question for you. So if you jump onto Instagram right now and look at your page, you've got just over 6,000 followers. What's your approach at the moment with social media? How important do you think that is for your business?
Look, I think social media is just a touch point. I don't put, look, I put a lot of effort into social media, but I'm more future-proofing my business. I think right now it's probably not as relevant as it is going to be in the next 5, 10, 15 years. My demographic of followers are probably between 24 and 30. Those people are going to be owning properties in the next 5 to 10 years.
How old are you, Alan?
Mate, I'm 24.
Okay.
So,
I thought you were 18.
Thank you. I've been doing pretty well. No, so look, I think that, it's an element of my business. It's a tool in the arsenal that I'm building over time, and it's going to be successful in the future.
Yeah.
But I think it's just, as I said, just a touch point.
Yeah. So it's good. Yeah. You're not relying on anything. I think cloud's one of the biggest things, and Clinton, you just sort of went down that path. If we rely on realestate.com, say you rely on realestate.com and domain.com and a signboard.
Yep.
why does the owner need you?
Yeah.
Because they can do the
Exactly.
same thing. They can
Great
put
point, Matt. Great
They can
point.
put
Yeah.
a for sale by owner.
Yeah.
Used to call them a FISBO.
Yeah,
right?
charisma.
You can put
That's
them
it.
up and you can stick a. They can go to realestate.com. They can
Yeah.
go to domain.com. They can actually put the ad on.
Yep.
And they can live in the same hope method that most agents
just do. Yeah,
So
yeah,
what
yeah.
are you going to do at every listing presentation from today differently?
Points of value comes back to that.
Add value, correct?
Exactly.
The other thing I think it's missing from the agent's repertoire at the moment, from what I can see, and I've been driving this into our team nationally,
Yeah.
is empathy.
Oh,
Right? Am I here to?
I love you.
I had a
I
hot
love
button
you.
with you, did I? So
no,
what
no,
I
yeah.
mean by empathy
Like,
is,
it was one of those moments, you know.
Yeah, you did that no quite well.
you're up at the altar clouds, are you? Back at some
Yeah,
bridges.
exactly. Communion.
So what I mean by empathy is the market's come back. Owners have lost money somewhere. Some people will actually lose money, Alan, in
Yeah, I
some of the
agree.
properties. Some
I
people
agree.
lose money, right?
Yeah.
They paid stamp duty. They need to sell. Buyers are finally seeing light,
Yes.
and rather than agents coming back and going, "Oh, vendors overpriced this, that, and the other," have some empathy around why they're overpriced.
That's right.
The buyer's all aggressive and wants to put a low offer in. Have some idea. They've been beaten down
Yeah.
for the last 4 years trying to find a family home. Have some
Correct.
empathy around that.
Correct.
Bring empathy into the two situations, and you'll just keep closing deals.
And you'll win, right?
You'll win.
And,
Have to.
and
You
what's
have
one?
to.
And here's the thing, right? What's one thing us as humans want to feel all the time? As a human,
Yeah.
we want to feel loved.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And the more you can throw empathy, doesn't matter who it is, a buyer, a seller, and also put yourself in their shoes. That's what I always say. Like, put yourself in the
I
shoes
think,
of the
yeah,
seller. Put
totally.
yourself in the shoes of the buyer. Like the buyer for the last 3 years has been going to auctions perhaps and missing out, but spending thousands of dollars on building and pest inspection, not winning the house of their dreams at auction, and then all of a
Has
sudden,
anybody ever missed out on purchasing a property?
oh yeah,
Yeah. How's that feel?
oh, just ask my wife, Pauling Avenue.
Just
Coogee.
ask my wife.
Back in 1998, we missed out on auction.
We went to this open because the problem is you got to look at it from the buyer's point of view. When they get excited about something, what do? They tell everyone in their circle.
Yeah,
we
totally.
found our place. We're going to have a go at it.
Yeah.
All of their friends are ringing them, texting them, good luck on the big day. Saying a prayer for them at the auction, or whatever.
Yeah.
They get there and they miss out, and then it's a social sort of situation where we missed out.
Yeah.
And we've got to tell everyone now.
Totally,
right?
totally.
And
Yeah,
then, like a lot of people mentally move into properties. Have you seen them?
Yeah, yeah.
Mentally,
Yeah,
look, little Johnny can sleep there, little Mary can go there. We can have our barbecues out here.
it's that
and-
emotional connection already, and then that place where you get there, and then all of a sudden you're let down. Do you
One
know
of the
what I mean?
first things we always practice is if somebody misses out on auction, they're the first people we go to, not the buyer. We go to the
Yeah.
underbidders and say, listen, really sorry, let us find you something. And we're on to them straight away that afternoon.
Make one deal into three.
Exactly right. But that's one part of that's the byproduct. But the main intention is to understand how they feel.
Yeah, totally. So beautiful of what we're talking about at the moment. So it's all about your attitude, your mindset,
Yeah.
right? If it's going to be useless if you just sort of say to yourself, you've got to think about strategies and ideas in this marketplace, like you're saying. That's what you've got to bring those points
Yep.
of value that you're mentioning.
Yep.
And empathy plays a big part, right?
Totally.
So, Alan, you're on the show here on The Mentors, and, we love a question, Matt and I, and Clinton. So what's your pressing question for The Mentors today?
Look, guys, I obviously, amongst this room, there's, multiple years of experience in the room.
Yeah.
And
And once you put our listeners on, plug that
exactly,
in.
exactly. They're coming in as well. So, look, I think where the industry's heading is as the market starts to tighten up, people start to go back, to what they know.
Yeah.
And that's an agent who's been in the industry for 30, 40, 50.
Oh,
You know
that's
what I
good. Yeah.
So I think, how would you, Matt, and guys, how would you probably, being a younger agent,
love
stay
it.
above,
Okay.
the
So
competition?
this is great. Great question. Can we just hold that question for a moment? So the other week I was in a workshop, Matt, and we're talking about points of value with the group that we were training with. And one guy came up and he said, well, he's been in the industry for 25 years, and he just sort of and he role played it like he was talking to a potential seller. And he said, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, just think for a moment, if you were flying to LA and you knew on that flight you're expecting some turbulent weather, some really rough conditions, did you want the captain that had 25 years experience manhandling that plane to get you to LA, or did you want the rookie that just came out of flying school? I was like, wow, that's powerful. Like when you put it in that perspective, in terms of, because they're all here in the market, So on the flip side, we've got Alan here who's asking the
So
question.
you just taught my competition more.
Say, for example, one of your competition in your marketplace could say that because you got some heavy hitters in your marketplace in Double Bay. There are some agents, like, let's be honest, Bart Doffs, the Bill Maloofs of the world, they've been there for a long, long time. And they might, say, well, here, I've got this experience. Do you, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, do you really want someone young, handling the sale of your home who's never navigated through this sort of conditions, right? So, Matt, what would you sort of advice give to Alan in that respect?
I've coached and mentored lots of young people over the years. I think my view immediately is if you're good enough, you're old enough, right? That's my first thing.
Yep.
I'm really not interested in who's in my marketplace. It's about not everybody knows the seniors. Like, you'll think that they all know the Bart Doffs, the Bill Maloofs, whoever they may be, but they don't. Because people don't buy and sell every day of the week.
Yeah.
That's the angle. So what you want is all the people they don't have.
Yes.
And there's a big marketplace. They might have 20% market share. You want the 80% they don't have. Yeah. And there's people your age coming into the market that probably don't associate with people of an older generation that would be right into your way of approaching them. So you've got plenty of options. The other thing is I also like to use the Bradbury rule, Stephen Bradbury. Like, eventually they're all going to fall over in front of you. So if you just keep skating,
and you win gold. You go in and win gold.
That's what I'm hoping
If you just keep skating, you've got to keep skating though. That's the problem. People go, I look up and they see the big guns and they go, I'll never beat them. But one by one, and I can tell you 20 years ago, the people are at the top of the tree in Double Bay, Eastern Suburbs in your market are not the same names now. And 20 years before that are not the same names. And in 20 years' time from now won't be the same names.
I agree.
Right? So there will be a changing of the guard. It's just whether you're the one they want to select when the guard changes. That's actually the key. So what have you got to do between now and the guard change? And it's the Bradbury rule. If you looked at those top three agents Clouds just mentioned, they might, let's say they've got 30% market share between them. There's 70 up for grabs. That's a bigger market than they've got. So imagine if you could control 40% of the 70. Eventually you'll end up controlling the 30.
Correct.
Because what's happening, the people, I'll explain to you how it works. Just say they have a top end of the market, sort of, which is where they predominantly sit.
Yep.
It's the people underneath that are going to buy those properties. That's where you are. So eventually you'll get to sell and they'll buy, then they'll be your clients in 10 years' time.
Correct.
Right? Their circle. It's a food chain, right? So the best part of the food chain to start off is at the bottom.
Yeah.
Right? Because the big fish eat the next fish, eat the next fish. And eventually you're going to be the big fish, right? Yeah. And then the smart strategy then is when you become, what I find is where a lot of the top end of town becomes redundant, and I'm making sure that doesn't happen to our people, they don't build enough people like yourself underneath them. So if they did that, they'd control the whole market. They'd get the little fish, the small fish, the medium fish, the big fish. They go and they set themselves up here and they say, I want to deal with these sort of properties. And so it's something for you to know when you get to that position.
The bread and butter
you want to
stuff.
remember the little fish. Because when the market drops, the first thing to drop is that top end. This bottom, people can still afford. They mightn't go for the 10, 15, 12 million, 9 million, 8 million. So they'll go for the 3s to 5s to 2s or 1 million, whatever it may be. And that's relevant in every market, whether we're talking Brisbane, Perth, Melbourne, it's all relevant. If you're in the $10 million space in Melbourne, I'd want to be in the $2 million space as well.
I agree. It's about the
You agree? Yep.
It's making sure that you're in all marketplaces, not just one
and
particular price point.
The big stuff is great to have, but it doesn't turn as quick and move as fast as the little stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
So you've
got to have the bread and butter.
Yeah, exactly.
In the marketing world, what's been interesting to pay attention to is where people are focusing, right? So I think you're already ahead of the curve by what you're doing on Instagram right now, but you need to take that same approach and then think of yourself like a small media company. You are in the business of buying and selling houses, but how do you then turn your business into more of a media company? Because right now, at least for the next 6 to 12 months, content creation is the thing that will be able to allow you to tell your story, to get the attention, to be able to make those stepping stones to the top. And then the second thing, which has been interesting, which I've listened to quite a bit, is Jeff Bezos has recently just come out as the world's richest man. And, if you go onto YouTube and you watch some of his content, He's the central thing that he focuses on that I think has helped them get to where they are now, 750 mil. He's worth 158. Yeah, exactly right. He talks about customer obsession as the thing, and the customer obsession is all about focusing not just on what customers want right now, but the fact that they're unhappy, but they don't realize they're unhappy. So you're always looking for a better way to do it. And then I've had a conversation with Michael Coombs this week as well. I just said to him, what do you think has helped you be successful on the lower North Shore? And he says, for him, it was adaptability. And that's about being able to talk to a first home buyer versus a celebrity.
Yeah.
And it's always going to be different.
Point.
Well, for him, it's actually what he said is it's not the same conversation because every single person has a different need. So when he's having the conversation, he's asking the questions and spending more time listening about what they need. So I think for any business to do well right now, it's to think of yourself more as a media company and to also focus on your customer.
Well, we're basically in a customer service-based industry.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, that's really
I
what
saw Jeff Bezos. I saw a story about him where he's kept his same email address. Did you see that story the other day?
No.
So he's kept it because when people want to write a complaint, he gets it.
Right.
So that's kept him on the ground. You know, a lot of these people put a firewall between themselves and the media or in the marketplace. He's gone bang, and he gets the complaints. He said he gets them, and he just sends to the head of that division a question mark.
Yeah.
He said he doesn't make a word, and they have to come back with a statement as to what they've done about it.
But you know what the great thing is there? It's just about being in the trenches, right? Like remaining in the trenches, because that's where all the fun happens. It's like you're still, you know, on a day-to-day level hearing complaints or whatever else, and this is where it gives you an opportunity, not an obligation, because it's an obligation, they want that, but it's not. Here's my opportunity to improve my services. How can I create that better customer experience and this doesn't happen again? So,
well, that's what I'm seeing at the moment as well. You know, in my marketplace anyway, the older, more complacent agents who are just used to sitting there and watching the phone ring, you know, are losing listings every day to younger guys like myself who are actually going towards the market.
And Alan, and this is the thing, it's where you can actually go to your marketplace and actually differentiate yourself and saying, look, you know, one of the things that you'll find once we start working together is I'm not the agent who's been in Double Bay for a long time that waits for the market. I'm the agent that, you know, that goes out and goes to the market. And these are the 7 steps that I do before going onto the market with your home. And then all of a sudden you're demonstrating to them, say 7 things that you may do prior to them coming onto the market, which maybe one of the bigger high profile agents who's been there for 30 or 40 years in the marketplace isn't able to demonstrate that because they're just going to be the agent that waits for the market, right? All of a sudden in that prospect's thought and mind process, they're thinking, well, here's a guy that's offering something a little bit different to everyone else. And they'll buy your energy because you've got high energy. They'll buy your passion because I can see you're passionate, right? And all of that straight away. Why do people do business with people? They choose people because they like them. They do business with people they like, right? So you get all of those little things in order, all of a sudden you create a degree of separation between you and the guys who have been there for 30 or 40 years. So like Matt said, there is so much opportunity. If some guy's got 30% out there of that market share of those couple of high, heavy performers, there's still 70% available out in the marketplace.
Yeah.
Right?
I agree.
Now it's about like
just getting
going,
it.
Yeah,
Just,
exactly. And
doing the activities.
and having that degree of separation when you're in someone's lounge.
You've
You can actually
just got to
illustrate that.
outwork everybody else in your market.
Totally.
Look, the younger guys who are doing well, that's what
Yeah,
you know, that's what we're doing.
And what do they say? It's harder to stay at the top than actually climb the mountain, right?
Exactly.
So that's complacency.
So I'm enjoying
that's where they
climbing
start
at the
resting
moment.
on their laurels. Exactly. Yeah. It's totally. Exactly. So, all right. So, Alan, as we wrap up this session today on the Mentors, episode number 24, has the Mentors answered your question?
I have. No, thanks for that. Thanks for having me, guys.
Don't get too
Appreciate
excited.
it.
Just calm
Exactly.
down. Please
Just
contain
chill out
the
a little bit.
excitement here, Alan.
No, thanks. I appreciate it. You know,
No.
obviously,
And mate, we
best coach in Australia right here. So,
Absolutely.
and he's my personal coach as well, guys. So
Absolutely.
Claudio and Sina.
Well, okay.
Do you listen to all the mentors?
He's a guru.
He's a guru.
He's a guru.
He's a guru.
You know, he was pretty
That's
good
pretty
at tennis
good.
too. He's got a
Exactly.
hidden secret. He's
Yeah,
talking about
mate.
golf, but he's actually better at tennis.
I got to take him on the golf course and take his
That's
money
it.
off him. He's taking too much off me, so I got to get some back.
Have you watched all the mentor series so far?
Not every single
see-
one.
you've seen-
Yeah, but I've seen a couple. Claudio, we have sessions cut. You know, every
What's your view on
fortnight,
him? You've taken some things out of it?
Yeah. No, look,
Good.
I think you know, every time I meet with Claudio anyway. It's a new experience.
It's a mentor session every time.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, that's exactly right. You know,
You know?
and I think the whole thing about the mentors is having technology side, experience of a leadership side. On a
I think
day-to-day coach.
it's real as well. You're not getting someone screaming down your head.
Well-
trying to tell you how to do real estate. It's more
No.
on the
Yeah.
same level to real. It's genuine.
Well,
So
Claudio, to his credit, saw a gap in the market where it's not about it's about the people in the industry.
Yeah.
And there's no ulterior motive to it, as you can see.
Correct, and keeping it relevant, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, thank you so much for joining us here on episode 24. Remember, if
Thanks,
you like
guys.
this session, share the page, and also if you want a question for the mentors, just DM us.
Got something great from this episode? It would mean the world to us if you passed it on. Tune in each week as we mentor a new agent. Have a question? Want to be on the show? Get in touch with Claudio Encina, Matt LaHood, or visit our Facebook page. The Mentors is brought to you by Sprinkler.media.